Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Passport to Wealth, the podcast that takes you on a journey through navigating your finances as a U.S. expat. I'm your host, Arielle Tucker, a certified financial planner and enrolled agent focusing on cross-border planning for U.S. expats. And I'm joined by my co-host.
I'm Savannah Chafin, a CFP candidate, enrolled agent, and self-declared expat tax nerd, here to guide you through the maze of life and finances across borders and share the inspiring stories of fellow U.S. expats who have navigated the process.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Passport to Wealth, where we talk about life and money and all things being a U.S. expat. Today, we're going to dive into a super fun topic that's very close to my and every U.S. expat's heart: shopping in the U.S. when you're home for visits.
Yes, if you are living abroad like us, you know the feeling. You finally land in the States after not being there for a long time, and suddenly all of those things you didn't realize you missed are right there, calling your name. So today we'll talk about what's in our shopping carts, what we're looking to bring home with us, and what we can't leave behind, and the fun of kind of bringing a little bit of home back to your lives abroad.
Oh, yeah. So I think this is like top of mind because you and I are headed to Minnesota next week for a conference. And I've never been to Minnesota, so I'll be experiencing that for the first time. Have you been to Minnesota?
Definitely not, no.
Okay, I'm from New York and you're from Georgia. So this is going to be a new experience. But in preparation of my trip, I'm working through my Target cart. So what I usually do is anytime I happen to be home for a couple of days in the US, I will put in a Target order. I don't always end up at Target. I'll just put in an order. And that way, when I show up at my hotel, there's like a 50-pound giant box full of goodies that I get to take home.
So do you open it in the hotel or do you ship
Oh
it and
yeah,
then open
because
it
it's
at home
like
like a gift?
it's no, I open it up like I mean, so this is so embarrassing to even admit. Like, because we're going home in October, I'm gonna order like 6 cans of pumpkin because I really like canned pumpkin. And I don't know, here in Switzerland, it's like, I don't know, 7 francs a can. So I'll order like 6 cans of pumpkin. So I have canned pumpkin for Thanksgiving and pies and pumpkin bread and everything. I'll order a bunch of salsa and basically just a lot of like baking goods that I just strongly prefer to like either the Swiss equivalent or yeah. So that's usually what's in my kind of virtual Target run.
It's interesting that you do it all virtually. I feel like one of the things I really enjoy about going to the US is kind of going into those giant stores. There's not like a Target here. Everything's separate. You go into like a clothing store or you go into a supermarket, or there's not really the all-in-one. And I always find that so, I don't know, just fun. And also, I'm just not used to it anymore. Every time I go back in the US and I walk into a Target, I'm like, holy shit. Like there's so many things here. So, so yeah,
No, I agree with you, but I mean, I think like I'm in the US for like 5 days. I'm flying 14 hours each way.
fair.
And so I just don't have time to go shopping. So I would say there's like 2 trips that I make home, and one is just like work trips, which I usually try to fly like just during the week so that, I'm not leaving Mike with the kids for too long. And then I would say like family trips where we'll go for like 2 or 3 weeks. And my shopping habits for those 2 different trips are like very different. So like work trips, it's like, how do I bring back the essentials? Like, right, restock my pantry with, the pumpkin and oh, we just got like a Ninja Creamy. So all the recipes
Ooh.
require like pudding. So I'll buy like a bunch of pudding mixes for my Ninja Creamy. And
For me, it's
I don't,
baking soda. Is that something
oh
that you
yeah,
struggle
baking
to
soda.
find? Okay. It doesn't
Yeah.
really exist here, but I don't know, for chocolate chip cookies, it's kind of imperative in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah,
So,
chocolate chips. Like chocolate chips are always on my list. Brown sugar is always on my list. Like I know you can make it, but I just prefer the
store-bought easy
prepackaged.
one.
Yes.
Okay,
Uh,
so from baking goods to snacks, are there any like specific snacks that you like to bring home with you?
so my daughter loves Doritos, and I think it's like the Cool Ranch Doritos that she loves. And I don't know if you noticed this, but a couple of years ago, like Doritos actually did arrive, I think in like Germany and Europe more generally, but the flavors are completely different and they don't have the
Mhm.
Cool Ranch. So that's like always on our list.
Okay. Honestly, I'm not a huge snacker, so that's not really anything I bring home, but condiments, like Chick-fil-A sauce, for example, they started selling that in grocery stores, at least in Georgia. I'm not sure if that exists in other states. And after
It
the,
did not exist when I was growing up in New York, but Chick-fil-A has expanded their empire since then. So I've never had it. I don't, what is it? Is it like,
I don't
what
even
is
know how to
Chick-fil-A
explain
sauce?
it. It's like how does one explain Chick-fil-A sauce? I don't know. It's almost like a honey mustard, but better, kind
Okay.
of. It's like a little sweet. Anyways, it's good. And I put it on like sandwiches or dip it in chicken tender. It's like a slice of home. Reminds me of my childhood. So
Yeah, well, I'm so with you with the condiments. So I buy, well, you know how the fridges here are so small, right? Americans have like massive fridge. It's like a whole nother pantry that they get to like store food in. But we have these really tiny fridges in Europe. And so one of my favorite things to do is buy like really little bottles of A1 sauce because I still love A1 sauce. Also, dinosaur barbecue, that's very much like, I don't know, central New York thing. I love, or yeah, I really love dinosaur barbecue sauce. I'm trying to think of what other condiments that I miss. I used to, when we first moved, I would buy like the ranch packet so I could make my own ranch. I would buy the Italian, like zesty Italian salad stuff. But, now that I've been abroad so much, I'm like, actually, a lot of the stuff I was bringing home just like has so much preservative, so much crap that I've just kind of like outgrown a lot of the food.
yeah, I used to bring home a lot of boxed mac and cheese, like Annie's is a brand. I would bring home a lot of that. And then I noticed that it would just stay on my shelf because it got less good as I started going. So but yeah, so for me this trip, I think I'll be buying quite a bit of clothing. I don't know if you have the same issue, but clothing here is relatively expensive and not fully size inclusive, I've noticed. Kind of around a lot of Europe and Austria especially. So that's something I'll be shopping for a lot is clothing. So I'm excited to bring that home. But of course, this travel I can only bring two carry-on bags, so I'll probably be shipping it in the mail, which is a little expensive.
Wait, why can't you bring a suitcase? Or
Well,
is it just
because I don't know, the trip is a little awkward, right? Like we're going to Minneapolis first, I'm going Minneapolis to Atlanta, Atlanta, Minneapolis, Minneapolis, back to Vienna.
you gotta go buy a big suitcase
Yeah, but I'm
when
flying
you're in
Spirit.
Atlanta? Oh, no, what about Atlanta to Vienna?
I'm going Atlanta, Minneapolis, Minneapolis, Vienna because it
Oh
was
wait, you're
cheaper.
going. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's this. These are the things that we do for like a good flight. I
Yeah.
am so sorry. Yeah, that's a bit of a pain. Yeah, I mean, shopping again, I'd say like when we first moved, I was very much like, it was what the tens back in the tens. And so I was still going back to like go to J. Crew and Banana Republic. And, now that I'm very much in like, my late 30s and we've got kids, I feel like I've just completely lost my style. So I've kind of just like stopped shopping. You'll see me
I
in the same
love,
clothes for like the last decade. And
yeah.
every time I go back to the J. Crew, I'm like, wow, this is just not the J. Crew of the 2010s.
Dude, for me, it's like the thrift stores in the US and then like the bargain shops like Ross or places like that. At least I don't know if you know what Ross is, but that exists in the South. I
We
don't know
don't
if
have that,
it's
but we have
expensive.
like TJ Maxx and Marshalls.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I
But
do
yeah,
love the idea. Like I do love that you can always or always feel like you're getting a good deal in the US, where in Europe you primarily have two sale seasons. It's July and January, and those are the only time that things will actually like really be on sale. So if you need clothes outside of those seasons, you're paying, full price.
yeah. And the other one for me this year is bedding. I know we talked about this a little bit before we pressed record, but bedding in Austria is just stupid expensive. So I know like back when I lived in the US, you could buy like a bed in the bag is what my mom called them, but it's like a full-on set for around $50. So I'll be buying bedding and sending it home this year.
Okay, I was making fun of you for this, but last year when we went home, I went to Costco and they had like the Pima cotton sheets on sale and I bought them and brought them back. So, I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's different sizes." I mean, we bought our bed in Switzerland and it's like the king size, I don't know, I think it's 200 by 200 or something. King size bed and I find that, the Costco king size sheets fit perfectly fine on my bed. So,
It's
yeah.
close enough.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that I like to buy for the kids in the US is shoes. So I know you don't have kids, but I will just like go down this rabbit hole. I find the shoes in Europe are really like stiff, like the soles are really stiff. And so I really enjoy like the Stride Right brand shoes. And so for my kids, like I will usually like kind of stock up on shoes for them over there.
Hmm. And why do you find, I don't know, I guess those brands better? Because you're saying like stiff soles, so do they cause like blisters or
No, but
harder to
like,
break in
you're
or
when you're a child, your foot is, I love that we're talking about this.
Sorry, just curious. I don't have kids. I
Like,
don't know.
your foot is growing and adapting, and it's important to have like a lot of natural movement there for, I don't know, good foot and health and balance. I'm not sure if you are like, I don't know, in this space and I'm saying something completely false, just like let me know. But where I think the shoes here are just, I mean, they're heavier and like the high quality shoes are here. I just find them like heavy and stiff, which I think means they will last a lot longer and you could probably get like a couple of kids through them, which is great. But I don't know. I'm I've been stuck on Stride Right for a while.
Yeah. And I think you can tell by us talking about this, like these little things, like these little comforts from back home, they really matter and they bring a lot of smiles to your face. They can bring a lot of happiness, whether it's like snacks or clothes that you're used to or cooking goods or whatever it is. It's a kind of a taste of home, physically and literally. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's really fun. And, side note, we just booked randomly tickets home for Christmas. And I don't know if I told you that yet. And
mm,
we weren't planning on going back to New York for Christmas, but we ended up getting tickets for $500 a person over Christmas break. And I just booked them because I'm like, I've never seen them that cheap. And I was reading a little bit more. I mean, right now they're saying it's cheaper to fly internationally than it is to fly within Europe or within the US. And so I'm kind of excited because I've got this trip to Minnesota. My husband's going to Atlanta at the end of the month, and then we'll go back home over Christmas. And I'm like, oh, my pantry is going to be like so stocked.
oh, the little things in life.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Passport to Wealth. Let us know what's in your shopping cart when you visit home. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So until next time, happy shopping and safe travels. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for our upcoming episodes packed with insights and stories to empower your global financial journey. This is Passport to Wealth, where your financial future knows no borders.
The information provided in this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered professional, financial, or tax advice.
We strongly recommend consulting with a qualified financial advisor, tax professional, or other appropriate expert before making any financial decisions or taking action based on the content discussed in this episode.
Your personal financial situation is unique, and a professional can provide tailored advice to meet your specific needs.